Hello and welcome to session 2 of our quarterly for Night's Black Agents. This is Pelgrane's game of vampires versus spies, with us playing the Burnt Spies. And this is a slightly modified version of that. So if you know Gumshoe, you will see that we are handling resolution and some other elements differently. If you're watching this and you're curious about what that looks like, I have a character keeper on Google Sheets that if you want to see that, you can contact me via the YouTube links here. My name is Lowell Francis, pronouns he, him, and this session is part of the Gauntlet Calendar. The Gauntlet Calendar is an online gaming community which has a ton of games each month. We have a Patreon that supports that. We have a calendar app to support that. If you play with us, we have a Slack that's focused on the games that we play, primarily focused on indie games, story games, as well as some OSR stuff. If you're curious about that, you can find out more at gauntlet-rpg.com. Last time we set up the new mission arc. We brought in a new character, and so we're going to go through and have everyone introduce themselves. And for this, we'll work this time just straight across the character keeper. So Carl, would you please tell us who you are?
Hi, good evening. I'm Pavel and I'm playing Carl. We both use pronoun he, him. Carl is an ex-Grom wet worker, and now he's working in this with this funny bunch of vampire killers. Carl is a big, bold guy, always ready for some showdown, carrying the various firearms and other murder devices. And last time I didn't introduce my key contact, and my key contact is Miloš. He's from 601 Special Forces Group, Czech Special Forces. And in the history that Carl Raleigh says about when he was turned on, when his unit turned on him, when he found out too much about the vampires conspiracy, Miloš was there to help Carl save him and also teach him something about the vampirology. And now they sometimes stay in touch, although it's always dangerous, to stay in touch as the hunters because you never know who will be compromised.
You don't know what threads are going to get pulled on there.
Yeah.
And then let's come to Peter.
Oh, I'm Paul R. And he, him, and the character I'm playing is Peter Skellen, also he, him. Peter is the sort of tech monkey of the group, normally the man in the van, but he has got some skills outside the van. So last week we saw him in the field, but I'm sure this week he can get back to his precious transit van, and that's really Peter.
All right. And then Henrietta.
Hello, my name is Alian, he, him, and I'm playing Henrietta Michaels, Henry to her friends, former MI6 cuckoo. She pretends to be people. I am all prepped to be pretending to be clever Henry, because I think we're going to infiltrate a lab. Yeah, she is worried, I think, at this point, because this was a great game to play as long as they didn't know who you were. And now somebody knows who we are.
And then last but not least, James Rook.
Jimmy Rook is ex-MI6 asset, not a full agent. He is a black bagger. He gets into places without being seen and steals from them or leaves something interesting behind. He was drawn into the vampire conspiracy when he broke into a room full of dead bodies with a book all about vampires in the middle of it. And then he's been on the run ever since. Yeah.
Excellent. Just before we get too much further, our lines and veils for the game, just a reminder what we have. We have hard lines on harm to children, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, as well as virus, plague, pandemic. And then we have veils on dental horror, harm to animals, sexual content, and torture. And you may hear us reference the Character Keeper, which is done as a Google Sheet. And also we have a Moreau.com board that Will has put together that you may hear us mentioning, talking about. It's the first time I've used that. It's a really striking little piece, and I'm curious to see how that works. So has everyone taken their refresh, between session refresh? You get to pick 2 things: investigative, 3 general, or a talent. I think everybody's taken that. So what is on the table right now? We are in the evening here in Paris. A lot of things have been run down through the day. Shooting happened earlier in the day. What is in play? We know that Morgane, this woman who's a biotech scientist, was attacked, and then her attacker was killed by some vampiric force. Morgane has called for an extraction. She said she's going to Elysium. And they've said that they're sending a team in. You still have the phone that text was going on with. You have the phone of the attacker, which has an app on it, a privacy app. But most of the other stuff you got was sort of circumstantial things: his, faked passport, his ticket out of here, those kinds of things. One of the things that was also, I should mention, in that text was the name Natalie was put in the text as somebody who was involved with it. So we've got Morgane out there, Elysium, extraction team. Those seem to be big things on there. There's more about that in my summary bit. The other point then is this PRX Biogenics. This is a company that works in a variety of biotech innovations and projects and things like that. And they have a facility here. Morgane worked for PRX as well as teaching at the Sorbonne. And the maps that you found in the location that was essentially intended to incriminate you clearly suggest and clearly match up with the layout of that facility, suggesting that the bombing that's being planned is actually in that place. So that's a thing that has been looked into. You haven't dug too much into PRX, haven't gotten eyes on site yet on PRX, but you do have Morgane's security badge for that. There are probably some other things that in my kind of going through I've gleaned over, but a lot of that is written there in the summary. I've written what I think are the outstanding questions there, the things that we don't have answers to. But essentially, we've got the bombing, the extraction team, and Morgane as the 3 things that are moving right now, that are clocks that are operating and out there in the wind. So I imagine that it's a slightly rainy night, that kind of cold, wet rain here in Paris. We're in January. There's no snow, but it is chilly. And we're in the van, probably taking a look at PRX and deciding what the next move is, whether it is this place or whether it is somewhere else. PRX has a pretty serious brick wall around the facility. There's some wire on top of it. Looks like there's interior cameras. They do have like a transport yard inside. You can see that they've got pretty good perimeter security. You're not seeing guards out on the grounds, but you assume they're inside. The facility itself is a 2-story facility. You assume there's a basement too as well. You can see light, the kind of glow of that there is a reception area. Clearly, they do have a business section to the facility besides their secure section. You know that this is, I think, a level 4 biosecurity because they do handle problematic materials, and they are working with gene banks and things, which means that they do probably have internal security that's pretty tight as well. The only other thing you might notice is that there definitely is separate self-contained AC units up on the roof, as well as clearly over whatever that reception area, there is a skylight there. So that's just to give you the quick run through on that, but that may not be where you want to go first. But let's take up with essentially it's probably cold in the van. Coffees have been gotten. You're probably a little bit damp, and Peter, you're often the one who kind of says these are the things we need to do. So I think we come in with maybe you kind of running things down.
Yeah, so I'll pull down that glass board, on a marking on it. What we got to do, and clearly, this biotech company, I think, is pretty strong in most people's ideas of a place to go. PRX, so possibly maybe do a sort of see if we can digitally get into their system. I think that's a possibility. If we are going to go there, how do people see this sort of playing out? Do we want to guns ablaze? Probably not the best, I would have thought. And we have got this woman's key card. So Henrietta could become this person.
I didn't dress like this for nothing. So I think we have to try and find the bomb and stop it exploding.
Thank God you said that, Henry, because I was wondering if Peter was ever going to get around to worrying about where that little thing called a bomb was. I mean,
because we are potentially implicated. We've got evidence the drive-bys by the hire car in our names. So I think we need to get in there and try and stop it. But it does occur to me that Morgaine is heading for an airport or some kind of pickup. And I'm just wondering whether we could split our efforts, because I'm not seeing this as guns blazing.
No,
in my mind's
neither am
eye, I thought we tried to spoof the security with the card. And then because I need someone with explosive expertise in there. So I thought I might then try to leave a window open for Jimmy.
I'm up for that.
The only thing I can see letting both you two down is that bugger all about biochemistry.
But none of us are going to know enough about biochemistry to pass for Morgaine, are we?
Me and Carl are pretty knowledgeable in that area. But...
I roll my eyes at the suggestion you're as knowledgeable as Morgaine, Doctor. But
we don't need to know much about the business. We just need an excuse to get in.
They're not going to be doing a test, are they? It's not going to be an exam.
What I am interested in is whether we can work out from the plans we've got, where would we put a bomb if we were going to blow it up?
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. There's a red X on that. Man.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I knew there was an X for the assassination attempt. I didn't realize. Oh well, then which part of the building is that in?
It looks like it is down in the basement in the labs area.
Of course, it's in the friggin' basement. Okay, so I think I try to get inside, and then I try to help. I'm going for Jimmy on the grounds that he can get in and get out under his own power, and has the explosive expertise to disable a bomb if it is where we've been told.
Well, I see two ways of doing this. I could always come up with I could always make some sort of cover up, right? You're a doctor, I'm a esteemed guest, financier, something like that. And then I'm in the building and I can exploit that. Maybe it might be easier than penetrating it from the outside, even with your help. If we can both walk in through the front doors and then I can pop off to the bathroom or something. But
how about trying to get you up on that skylight to covertly come in?
Skylights over the reception. Is there any fire door or anything like that?
ground floor, we have one side door that you guess is the sort of business office access smoking area, because there is a little covered area a little ways away from the door. There is a loading area not too far away from that, and then there is a fire exit door on sort of the opposite side. So we have, besides the front door, we have 3 ground level alternate access points.
Probably all alarmed. Maybe in
Well-
the back of the van, we might have a parasail. You
Listen,
never know what we could have prepared for.
Can I just say that the access to the smoking shelter is unlikely to be alarmed because it will be going on and off all the time.
As long as it's
It'll
open
probably
from
be
the
covered by
inside.
cameras, though.
As long as it's open from the inside. Exactly.
Well,
But
cameras.
it sounds like you two are fine. So me and Carl could drop you off, and then we could go and look for Morgana.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
What do you reckon,
Make-
Carl?
Makes sense.
So we'll assume that that's kind of getting into place. Carl, we'll say that you've got this phone of that Morgane left behind, and it will buzz. And you get a text that says, essentially, sit rep, location.
Yeah, and this is actually a cool opportunity I was kind of looking for, because Carl picks up the phone and he says,
Looks
I
like
was
you're
actually
operating
Stop.
by text.
It's a text.
Yeah.
And clearly you're a man. If you speak to them, they're going to know that you're not a woman.
But I think you're talking to the group, right?
Yeah, I don't say I pick up the phone, I answer it. I'm just like pick up and read the text, and I say, well, an opportunity just arrived. I was wondering if you could try to fool them that we were followed and that we are not at the Elysium, but at some different place, and then maybe the two of us can get a look at the extraction team. A little bit risky to engage them with just the two of us, but if the opportunity arrives, maybe we can, steal some of their equipment or bug them to know where they are going. And
Yeah, well,
but
I mean, we
compromise
could pick a public place, say the Pompidou Centre.
My
I can
money's
go up
on.
on the roof, set my sniper's rifle, and you can meet them down at a cafe just opposite the Pompidou Centre.
My money would be on Carl and any, no matter how many men they send.
yeah, the question is, what are our plan? Do we want to like take them out for good? Do we want to just get a read on them, or do we want to? Well, Henry's going there, but she's the only one who can like impersonate Morgane, and the extraction team can take Morgane with them. So we have like few options.
Oh no. No. I am not getting in the back of a black SUV with a bunch of people I don't know anything about.
Not again, anyways, right?
Carl, let's draw them to a public place. We could from a distance we could make you up to look like her. I don't think that would be impossible. In fact, we're all pretty skilled in disguise.
I think you guys are been hanging around Henry too long and thinking that a wig and some lipstick will make it good. All you need to do is make them. They're looking for Morgane.
Yeah.
Morgane, but they're not in contact with Morgane, clearly. So all you need to do is make them, and they can lead us to Morgane, or they can tell us more about who they are. We don't need to infiltrate them or anything. We just need to get eyes on who they are. And then you can watch them, surveil them, cracking them, whatever computer net comms they've got on, anything. But if you set up a meet and you're not willing, you're trying to hide, all we're going to do is tip our hand and our involvement. Better
So
to
yeah, we'll drop
set
you
up a
two
fake,
off. And
fake
should we meet these guys at a public place, Carl?
Yes, and then what?
Follow them.
Well,
Find out what they're about.
Bug 'em.
But you
You
said
always
that
send
if
them a
we-
text saying, just as they get there, saying, Morgana's moved. So then that'll give us a chance to get a bug on them. Or follow them.
Or anything. You get them at the moment. They're just a name on the other end of a phone, right? You get them into. You get one of them into a bar or a club or something like that. You can make them, and you can follow them back without them knowing that you're on their tail. But if you actually meet them face to face, you're going to have something to say or a plan of action, right? And so far, we don't know friend from foe.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that. I will. So I will probably reply that there needs to be an excuse why she's not in the Elysium or whatever it is.
Elysium compromised.
Probably write something like being followed, awaiting pickup at and give some cafe. I think I would like not like in the strict center, but also not on the city edge. Probably I don't know Paris that well. There's probably like somewhere like some public cafe, but in the like middle part of town or on the edge of the city center or something like this.
There's loads of terrace coffee park kind of things. You want somewhere that's got a really good line of sight from a building over the street, right?
Oh yeah, maybe there is some cafe that is on the roof of the building with a good view on the like Eiffel Tower back over there in the distance. So I will pick something like this, like a big roof cafe that will give Peter a good view, and they will also like go for the building, something like this. You are muted.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So we'll drop these two off at PRX, and then we'll go and do this job, Carl.
So let's start PRX drop off, but let's start with this. You're contacting them. This is trying to get them so they don't think there's anything suspicious to this. I would like a disguise roll from one of you two for setting this up, Carl or Peter.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. So I will spend 2. And that's pretty terrible. A total of 5. That is a well-spent +2.
So there's a pause. Clearly, there's some conversation. Question: Elysium compromised? Question mark.
Yes.
Let's hope they're not there.
15 minutes ETA.
Roger.
And we'll assume that this text is done when you were fairly close, so you have more time ahead of that to get to that location. And we'll assume that Carl, you're moving your way into the crowd to kind of keep an eye on things on the ground.
Yes.
How are you armed?
Probably quite light, not to arise suspicion. So probably like a jacket, just a pistol underneath with me, like some knife on the back of my belt, just in case we need to go hand to hand. Not very heavy.
And Peter, you're getting up on some higher location.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's actually going to be a roll for that one because you're trying to do this quickly and do this without being seen. So this strikes me as a physical test, athletics or evasion. Does that seem right?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's a tall building, so I think you see Peter moving at speed with a sniper's bag, with a rifle. You know, not particularly broken down, so it's quite a large bag. So yeah, I think you see him running up the staircase. You know, to keep out the sort of the CCTV. So yeah, a physical test. I'm going to spend 2, and let's see what we get. Total of 8.
Total of 8. So you have made your way up onto this building. Time is kind of tight. We'll come back to you two on the ground, but you're set up and you're feeling fairly confident about your position right now. So we cut to Henrietta and Jimmy at PRX. How do you want to play this?
Presumably there's a front entrance.
Yep.
So that's the logical way in.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that Peter has done some jiggery pokery with this pass, so that if it did have a picture, it now has my picture on it.
Yeah, that seems fairly easy. Yeah.
And so do I think this is just a, show someone the pass, or is it electronic?
It looks like it's electronic.
So I just hit the electronic and walk through with the usual degree of confidence.
So that outer wall gate will open, and you'll walk the distance. Feels very exposed. You're by yourself doing that walk between that outer gate and that front entryway, that reception. You can see that they've got frosted glass, so you can't see in, but they can clearly see out as you are making that walk up.
But what makes Henry so good at what she does is that she's able to just put that to one side. She is the scientist. She does belong here.
And Jimmy, while Henry is hitting the front doors and essentially make their way past reception, where are you positioned? Where are you getting to?
I am positioned the quickest, straightest route to the most obscured route to the fire door, the smoking area, basically.
Okay, then that is going to be a physical test for you.
Mm-hmm. So just having a quick look at talents to see what can be used to pull this back from the brink if I completely bugger it up. It would be an infiltration, I imagine, right?
Yeah, infiltration.
Yeah. I don't think any of the talents in infiltration are particularly relevant to this. So I will just roll with, I guess, 2 point spend.
Okay.
Where is the dice roller? Is that on the lines and veils?
Yes, it is.
There we go. Okay. $11.
So your blur, you've already marked where the cameras are. You've got a little bit of the weather to cover where you are. As soon as Henry is moving in, any kind of cameras would be kind of just by happenstance picking her up. You're gone. You've made your way around, and you're at that essentially side door there.
Yes, and I'm wearing,
which is open,
and I'm wearing like those coveralls that we were wearing before when we were the orange repairman, but the strip that says orange I just rip off and it's just blank now.
Absolutely.
The idea is that if I won't at a glance appear to be anything other than a utility thing,
I'm going to come back to Alan, but I think you may have missed the last thing that I said about that door.
It has a security thing on it, did you say?
No, I said it is open and there is a piece of something holding it open right now.
Oh, I see the door. I think I saw the door open and thought it was Henry. And
No.
no, but I mean, I saw that it was open. You know what I mean? As in that, like, I saw the door when I glanced through, I saw the crack and was like,
That was
"Cool, it's
chic.
go time." And then I get there and like I'm already opening the door whenever
Okay.
Henry gets to me. Yeah.
Henry, this is it. This is your disguise roll. This is hit the thing on that. The security guard looks up. You're surprised. You'd expect there to be a couple of security people here at reception, but there's only one. And they kind of look up as you come in. They see you come in through the sort of the outer glass in here. And then you come in. This is the disguise roll to you look like you belong here.
Yeah, I'm curious about notice. So far, this feels too easy. Because this is at least dusk, isn't it?
Yeah, this is after hours.
Yeah. So this just seems very lax to me. So I think I'm
Make a notice
wanting to
spend?
use notice. You know, what's weird? There's that, you know, the back of the neck is just prickling a little bit. This seems odd.
It feels to you like steps have been taken to make security lax tonight. There ought to be another person there. You know, you haven't seen that many, like you kind of have in your head how many cars there ought to be out there for security people, and it's a lower number than you would put on a building like this. But this guy doesn't seem to register anything like that. Like, he is clearly treating this like a normal night. You're muted. You remain muted.
Yeah, I'm muted twice. So I think that I'm curious about whether I could make a bureaucracy spend to convince him that I need to get to the basement as quickly as possible.
I think this starts with a disguise first, and then we'll let you do that bureaucracy spend to kind of piggyback on that.
So I'll spend 2 on this disguise and roll. That is 7, 8, 9.
9. So you have the sense that you can get past him. Like, if you keep walking, go past him, he's not going to pay mind. But if you go and talk to him, that may make things a little more complicated. You can go for the bureaucracy spend, but that may okay.
No, if it's I breeze through,
right,
and then I need to do 2 things. I need to see, you know, I'm calling up, because we've got plans of this.
Yeah.
So I'm calling up the swiftest route to the side entrance.
Okay.
And then the swiftest route from there to the basement.
Okay. And you will move in. You're moving to the side entrance. One of the things you do notice here is you kind of move into the business office, and you can see where you get into the main building, like, all of the doors have security cards. Like, it is multiple use security cards here. To get in. Jimmy, you pop in that door, you look, Henry's not there.
How has it been propped open?
Essentially, somebody has just put like a plastic brick kind of thing, something you might find around, just to prop this side door open.
Yeah, no, just on the off chance it was something. It was a crucifix.
Right.
Like,
no, I think that's a fair question.
Yeah, and I swear, I think I edge my way. You know, I pull down the cap that I'm wearing in the with the thing, and then just like stroll across like any old janitor / workman. But I am cautious. You know, from my point of view, I'm like looking around the corners, and I'm hoping that Henry's going to make the meet here.
Still muted. And that's when Henry comes through on the earpiece saying, this is freakily easy. I'll be at the door in about 2 minutes.
Door was open, Henry.
This is very freaky. I'm sensing a setup, but I don't think we have an alternative.
You want to go ahead?
I don't think we've got an alternative.
Okay, meet you at the, you know, the nearest midway point that leads in the same route as the whatever, right?
And we see
Oh,
the two
you
of
know
you.
what? I have a COVID mask on as well. Sorry, no,
Okay.
I know I shouldn't
Oh,
say
yeah.
a COVID mask, but
But
whatever.
you have a mask on.
Yeah.
Standard. It's cold out. Yeah.
And
Makes
I've got
sense.
bleach and stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
like,
So yeah, you two move and we'll cross paths. We're going to cut to Peter on the roof, kind of looking down. We get that view of that cafe. We can see the aerial shot. It's up a little ways as well. We see people there. People aren't out on the open air areas because it is cold and rainy, but people are in that sort of brightly lit glass area there. And Carl, you've arrived and are kind of moving yourself into position there, and settle yourself down, and you wait.
Yeah, I probably order myself a croissant, grab a table, build a view on the Eiffel Tower, and take the phone and pretend like I'm on the video call with someone with like an earpiece commenting something, showing the Eiffel Tower, but I'm like actually in communication with Peter or with whoever needs me. So yeah, I'm looking out for
You
those
see
guys.
this guy come in. He's built a little bit rougher. He's dressed in the kind of jacket that you would use, the inner pockets, a little bit bulky, guns and knives aren't going to show. He walks in, and you see him move with that caution that you ascribe to professionals. And he moves and scans the room. And you see him very carefully take note of everyone in the room, and then goes and sits himself down fairly close to the entryway so he can get out quickly, but he sits there and he's waiting. And then you see him touch an earpiece, and he's clearly hearing something come in, some chatter.
I'd like to do maybe a surveillance spend, look at radio traffic in the area, see if I can work out where he's communicating with, or at least intercept that chatter.
Absolutely. We will see you do that. You make that surveillance spend, do a quick, and do that ping, and you'll kind of look, and you'll get that glint of a little building across the way, and you will see the sniper has arrived and is scanning the areas, looking at positions for other snipers or for other people first. And he is clearly panning around. You can see he's a little out of breath because he's run up these steps, gotten into position, set himself up, and he's now looking for who's around the area. And then, if he doesn't see you, he's going to turn his attention back to the cafe.
Okay, I'll communicate to Carl and say, we've been compromised here, Carl. We just want to follow them. So let's get out of here. They've got a sniper on you.
Sniper me? I'm just a tourist looking through the window. No worries. I'll bug the guy and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I'll quickly grab my kit and run for the staircase.
You start moving down the stairs, Carl?
Yes.
That phone that you have that you communicated with them on, the text phone,
Hmm.
it will start vibrating in your pocket. Like they're clearly pinging it.
Yeah. Do we still need this phone, guys, or can or can I lose it?
I'd say ditch the phone, just leave it on the seat and get out.
Yeah, I probably like lean in and put the phone on the chair behind me.
Okay.
So that's lying over there. I'm going to stand up, and is the guy like sitting at the table? Is he like standing? Is he like just if he
Sitting
just
at
like
one of
around?
those little round tables. He's a big hulking guy, so he's just a small table close by the door, kind of looms over it. You have to kind of go past him to get out.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, is there any approach way that I can like get in and put a buck on him? Oh, yeah, I think
Sleight of hand, that sort of thing.
yeah, but if he's if he's like sitting in the like total corner, there is no approach way. So I think I will actually go to the bar. I will pay the waitress to take the cappuccino to this guy, and quickly scribe on the piece of paper that I'm on the I'm on the balcony or something like this, because I want this guy moving, hopefully.
I think I want either a disguise or a cool roll here. There's a little tense situation. You've got a guy clearly watching for you. You're trying to keep out of the sight of him, but you're trying to draw him off. You've had that phone on you. So what do you want to roll here?
I think it's more of a cool roll. I will go slow. The situation is already bad. I will wager one on this.
Makes sense.
Not -1, +1. That's a total 3.
Okay. So yeah, you'll drop that in. You see the guy kind of get up. When that things you move out into the hall. We've got one of those sort of concrete stairs that go down a couple of levels. Very open plan there, and you're kind of stepping out onto the top of that step. You kind of look back at the guy. He's moving over towards that, and at the corner of your eye, you see this other guy kind of step out from the side when the door kind of shuts on the cafe when you're at the top of those steps, and he moves up on you, and you can see his hands down, close in knife work. It looks like he's just coming in to put this knife between your ribs. We'll come back to you in just one moment. Looks like he had a partner. Looks like there's some kind of communication. Looks like they made you somehow. You're not sure. Let's come back to you two in the building. Kind of hit the security pass, go through again, tight area, airlock entrances. They slow everything down. You've got to cycle on all of this. And one of the things that you'll see, though, because you have notice, as you move through here, you're kind of moving through the business office, you're about to head into this, you will see, various pictures of people. You'll see a picture of Morgaine. You also see the picture for the chief of security, whose name is Natalie Tolbert.
Interesting. Would a 0-point surveillance casing the place even do anything, or is that not appropriate here?
I think You can tell that somebody's been through here, somebody's moved in. You can tell that guard rotas have been set to make things easy.
For exactly this situation.
Quite possibly.
Hey, this is getting worse and worse, Henry. I think
you also know that while the picture has been changed on that ID badge, the system has logged that Morgaine has come in. What do you two want to do? You kind of just stepped into the non-business portion of this. You know it's very likely that you've been made.
I still think we got to try to stop the bomb going off, unless this is just. But then there was an assassination attempt, so I think these are real threats.
I think stopping Paris from being blown up in any way, shape, or form is top of Jimmy's priority at this moment. So
yeah, we cycle through the shortest route we can to wherever this red cross on the map was.
You will make your way downstairs through this, and we will see you get down in there. You notice that down here, of course, it gets colder. They've got their computers down here. You can see that they've got a separate server farm, like, they got a public server farm, and then they clearly got a private computer set up here. And we'll see you making your way towards the back. And you will get to a place where there's a lab, got that cycled door, and there's that room, and you see this guy, and he's got this stuff, and he's hearing something on his comms there.
Does he look like he's from PRX, or does he look like another intruder like we are?
He's definitely dressed more industrial like you are, but he definitely has an ID badge.
And he's in exactly the place where we want to be, right? The bomb place. Is he carrying something?
No, but there's something at his feet.
I think I go to Jimmy and I say to Jimmy, go round.
Oh yeah, so I'll go around and draw his attention from the front.
No. And I trip on the edge of a server, and say, "Oh, pardon."
So you're keep in mind you're outside. So this is the lab. You can see through the window into this
We're
room.
Not in there yet.
Yeah, no,
I beg your pardon. Oh, then
no.
we have to go in then.
All right.
You don't want to go in, and you don't want to wait for him to finish and then go in?
No, I don't.
Then shit, we better be fast.
If he's getting updates, and this card won't last long.
Yeah.
I tell you what, cycle the airlock and not go in. Let's see if we can get him to come to us.
He's behind an airlock then to get into there.
You can kind of see in the glass of this room.
Yeah. The glass of this room. Probably not just glass. Not just throw a chair through the window, shoot him in the head, and take the bag.
Level 4 biosecurity.
Yeah. Well, shit. Yeah, you want it however you want to play it, Henry. We've got the only chance we've got to getting close to him is your disguise, anyways. So if you want to cycle the airlock and see him come out to us, but
I'm going to cycle the airlock, in the hope that it attracts his attention.
So, two are standing there.
Well, I'd like to suggest Jimmy is out of sight.
Jimmy out of sight. So you're not seen. Airlock will cycle. It's that 2-part cycle thing, but it is noisy. Jimmy, from where you're at, you see him look up. You see him say something, and then you see him go like no, no, no.
Oh shit! Yeah, they're going to trigger it remotely. Shit. Shit.
Can I, nick of time, have a comms jammer in my pocket?
You can, but the comms is already, well, I see, this is an interesting thing. That's an interesting idea here. I tell you what, I'm going to let you make a roll on that.
So just a preparedness roll rather
This
than
is this is a roll to see if you can stop this in time.
Okay.
Because you may have that comm jammer, but it's only now you're realizing what's about to happen here.
Oh, to be honest, it's only now that I've realized that he is on comms. I thought we were just assuming that before. Okay, so I will spend 2 for the, you know what, let's make it 3, because it's something I actually really want to, definitely don't want this bomb to go off while we're in here.
Okay, so here's what it is. 10
Yeah.
plus, you're going to jam that thing.
Mm-hmm.
7 to 9, it's going to go off, but you and your friend Henry will have the opportunity to get yourself to relative safety.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well, I guess if I'm jamming the bomb rather than him being able to tell his compatriots that the airlock's been cycled. Okay. You son of a bitch. It's an 8.
So there is that moment where you grab out the comms thing and you're kind of fumbling with it, and you fall back away because you know what is coming. Henry, you've got the outer airlock open and you've kind of moved, but you kind of look up, realize what's going to happen, and fall back. And
can we say that Jimmy just explodes and tackles her out of the way of the door?
Perfect.
Like, yeah.
Glass everywhere, just that fireball engulfs. And everyone, both of you are going to take 2 harm, and I need both of you to roll take the hit.
So roll +2, yeah.
Roll plus actually +1, because we're doing it one dot less.
Okay. Oh Jesus God, that's 4 altogether.
Good. Look at you.
Oh yes, no, that is that. Yeah, sorry,
You
it's
want
the wrong way
low,
around,
yes.
isn't it? Oh, I hate those moves.
That's when you suffer at least 2 harm, roll plus harm suffered -1, right?
Yep.
Is that the cool? So that's just a 1. That's an 8 again.
So I think that losing your footing is exactly like, I think you and Henry are thrown down the corridor as this goes off. And immediately we've got suppression spray, and you mean alarms going off, and chemicals in the air, and you can tell that it's blown into an adjacent lab, and it's a mess, and you're down here in the basement, and we'll come back to you in just 1 second. Carl, let's deal with you, and then we'll check in where Peter is at. What do you want to do?
I think there might have been a misunderstanding, because my idea was something different than I communicated and maybe you understood. So I wanted to pay a waiter to take the coffee with the note to the guy. The guy hopefully would have started moving toward the balcony, and then I can like bump into him, plant something on him. But you narrated me going somewhere, and I'm not sure.
No, I thought you were trying to leave. In that case, then
that was my idea.
Absolutely. No. Then I think the situation is not that there's somebody outside. That I think he turns, and the second you're up on him, he is going to put that knife in you. So it's a simple knife. I don't think either of you are attack vest armored, but I think it'll be 1 harm. But you are in that kind of, that dance in the middle of this area, and he is trying to push you towards the balcony, like to get you outside, probably so his sniper can put a bullet in your head. What do you want to do?
So since this is a public space, and I just noticed this guy at the last moment, I tried to play it like really cool. So he still has a knife, yes?
Oh yeah, he's got a clearly trained combat knife, double-edged. He's got it low so people can't see it, and he's doing that stab in, trying to get at your vitals.
Yeah, well, in this case, Carl will spill his coffee in the guy's face in a hope that to like take his knife and deal with the guy with his own knife, and hopefully make it just look like a horrible accident happens over here.
So nobody has the edge. That hasn't changed yet. This opponent is on your scale. Locked up with him at this point. So let's have you make that fighting roll.
Cool. I will spend 2 because I see that the dice are becoming really interesting today.
Interesting is a good word for that.
Because last time we somehow slid on just spending 1, and here I see it's going more interesting. Oh, a 12.
Okay, so you deal harm to him and you suffer no harm. What are the extra benefits? One of the things you wanted to do as a benefit would be to have it look like nothing is happening. Is that one of the things you want to have?
I want to look like the fight that then took place here. Like the guy maybe like had a knife and he fall on his own knife, but I'm just like, oh my god, what happened here?
Okay, so essentially, one of your benefits is plausible deniability.
Yes, like the guy that bumped into me, I spilled like coffee. Now he's lying on the floor, stabbed with a knife, and I'm just like, oh my god, what has happened over here?
What do you want for the other benefit? Do you want to, finish him off, or do you want to get out of there?
That's a good question. I think my other benefit is that as I'm saying this, I like keep moving to maybe like get into the place where there are some curtains over the window, so that the sniper so that I get some cover from the sniper while inside, and I can just like go toward the exit.
Okay, so he's not downed, but you have gotten yourself out of any kind of line of sight for the sniper, and you're going to be able to move out of there easily on that next round. Peter, there's still a sniper up top. Things have gotten a little hairy where Carl is at. How do you want to play this now?
I'm gonna case the nearby area, trying to look for a people carrier, something that could have transported these 3 tooled up guys, because hopefully they're occupied, and we might be able to put a bug on their vehicle, that sort of thing.
You've got notice, and I don't think this is a spend for just the basic info, because they didn't have a chance to like get too much concealment. There definitely is a van. You don't see driver in the van, so you assume that there's somebody working in electronics. But is you've got that distance between where you are and the van, and you've still got that sniper up top.
Are there people about? I mean, is it?
Oh yeah. Actually, there's civilians, collateral damage. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to sort of then blend in. I don't think this guy may have made me yet. Anyway, the sniper. So I'd like to try and blend in and sort of nonchalantly stroll over to this vehicle and try and get on the blind side between the vehicle and the sniper, and then slap a bug on.
I think to do all of that, I think that's feels like an evasion roll. Do this quietly.
I'm going to spend 2. Leave me with just 1 in general. Hey, what a roll! Snake Eyes +2 is only a 4.
So you get that bug on the bottom of that van and you move to pop up. And that's when you hear that thwip and that crack, and that bullet hits you shoulder, and you'll feel that numbness as you take 3 damage.
Nasty.
And I think I need you to roll take the hit.
Certainly. So that's at +2, is it?
Yeah.
6.
That is great. So you grit your teeth, probably drop and roll into the crowd, and their blood comes out. So people are like freaking and moving here, even as that is happening, and it hurts like hell. Paris night, still the wet coming down. You know that Carl is still a distance away to get over to where you're at, and that sniper is still up on that roof. You don't know if the guy in the van knows exactly where you are, but you do have the bug on it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and go down some sort of side alley, fall into, some restaurant bins, prop myself up at the side of a bin, pull a handgun.
We'll come back to you and Carl and see how that falls out. Smoke everywhere, that air, that mix of smoke and halon as you hit those stairs to the basement. What do the two of you want to do?
Get the fuck out.
Okay. Is it just bug out? No other concerns?
I think that, it's bug out time. There's a bomb that's gone off. We're in a basement. You never want to be in a basement when people are coming in from the top.
Okay.
We have ended up straight into their whatever hands they had, right? It's we're blown.
Then I think this is an athletics check, in mostly to see about smoke inhalation and getting out of here. So who wants to make that roll? And keep in mind, you can pitch in on other people's rolls up to a total of +3.
Oh, are you saying this only needs one roll between us?
One roll. Yeah, I don't think we need to have both of you roll.
Okay, well, I'm going to spend 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's roll the dice.
10, 11. I will throw it.
About time.
Pardon? Oh, you got a good roll?
Yeah. So I've got a 9 plus the 2 is 11.
So tell me what we see. Like the facility, I mean, we probably see the power going off, the smoke. What do we see the two of you doing?
Alarms are going off. It seems like there aren't very many people on site. So I think we are going to roll out of that side door, and we're going to get out the way Jimmy came in.
And if neither of you are like, okay, we got to, stop and evade, do serpentine. If you are just bugging out, you can get out of there, just the smoke hanging onto you, the smell of that, chemicals, all of that clinging to you as you move across. You've got a response time, at least a couple minutes here.
No, I think that we need Jimmy so far is the only person not blown. We need to try and protect Jimmy's identity at this point. So whichever way he got in, which was, out of sight of the CCTV, you're going to see me come out through that side door, peeling my lab coat off as he goes out of sight.
This I will have a roll for.
I thought you might. I'm hoping that this is something like
it's disguise or cool.
Yeah, I think I'll go with cool if that's okay.
Yeah,
I'll spend 2 from cool.
Yeah. I also do want to
remind
I'm
going to spend 3 from cool.
You can always mark a condition rather than taking harm on things. So when I go back to Paul, I'll check with you on that too.
Okay, so I will roll. That is 8, 9, 10, 11.
So Jimmy, you break left when you get out that door, and you look and you can see, there's a parking lot. There's probably one of those sewage access things that goes under the fence. I think we can see you run and dive into that, out of the line of the cameras, and make your way through that. What is the look on your face as the camera sees you doing this kind of down and dirty get out?
Oh, I think, I'm breathing, I rip off that mask and breathe in a gasp of the air and then cough up a load of like whatever the substance and then stagger off down the thing, catch my breath and then sprint,
Sprint, you can already hear the sirens coming. Henry, you also realize you don't have a vehicle here, either of you. And so are you going out that front entryway, or are you going over the wall?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're just running for that front entryway.
That's where everybody else will be running for.
Okay. It looks like they're only a couple of people in the building. They're just kind of moving out of the building right now. But you go tearing off down that, and some people see you. And we'll see you run, kind of hit the emergency button, and head out into the rainy Paris night, even as the police are close on your heels. Let's come, Carl. I'm going to assume that you now realize that Peter has been shot. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I wish I could multitask, but I'm not but this is not sci-fi. I cannot. So I will probably go grab the car and be in the communication with Peter where to pick him up, on which alley or something.
Absolutely. So you are making your way. I think going to get to the ground. You're going to try and keep out of sight. I think this is a simple evasion roll for you to do that.
Sure. I will spend one. It's an 8.
8. So Peter, what do we see you doing? Because you definitely do hear another sniper shot after Carl gets out into the street. And Carl, you probably see nearby as you come kind of dodging off to the side, a window will shatter as someone took a shot at you. And you're not sure exactly where Peter is, but you're making for the car right now. What are you doing, Peter?
I think, I really sandwiched myself between two sort of metal industrial bins, and I'm pulling garbage bags on top of me. So I've got one hand pressed to the wound. My clothes, I've sort of scrunched them up to form a sort of makeshift bandage. I've just pulled a small pistol. But yeah, really, I'm just covered with garbage bags, and I'm trying to call Carl in, with some decent direction so we can just come down this alleyway, open the side door, and I can bundle in the passenger seat.
And I think we probably see a parallel cut of Carl. You get to the vehicle, you turned around, you're in comms with Peter, but we also see that other team moving and scrambling. They've made too much noise. Their sniper is packing things up. The knifed guy is stumbling out of that cafe. The guy in the car is starting things up, and we see sort of the two parallels, the two groups. You grab Peter up, they grab their guys up, and see the cars go off in different directions there. Let's take our first break. Let's come back at 20 after, and then we'll continue with a meeting of the minds.
Well, I'm exhausted.
I think that's the first time you've had something go so terribly haywire.
Lucky me.
Yeah, there are no pluses came out of that one.
Well, we know Natalie's maybe the security of thingy, and we have a bug on the clan. I'd say that our trade-off for both of those things was much higher than we paid more than we earned.
I think that's a fair assessment there.
Lowell, I did have a question. In your summary,
Yeah.
did you mean to give us the name of the assailant, the shooter?
Yeah, because you did get that.
Oh, okay, so Xenu.
Yeah.
They're all very Greek, aren't they?
There is that.
I think I will take that damage as a thing.
A condition?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So essentially, which one do you want to mark for that?
I think physical.
Yeah,
You know,
so,
hitting
yeah.
the shoulder. That's
Yeah.
That's gonna.
And
so
is that a -1 or a -2 on anything in that?
that is disadvantage.
Ah.
Until that is cleared. So Peter, Carl is driving. You know, he's still feeling that hurt. You get
that's a wound.
Yeah, you get a chill. Not unlike when you and Jimmy were up on that balcony. You saw that assailant's torn up body. And you're riding along, you're in communication with Henry, Jimmy, making arrangements for rendezvous. The blood flow isn't stopping from this wound.
Okay, I'm going to put in the cigarette lighter.
Okay.
Heat that up, and I think you'll see you'll see Peter pull back his shoulder and he'll grab a tube of sort of hard mints or something, shove it between his teeth, and then he'll break a little capsule and sort of sniff on it, the good stuff.
Okay.
And then you'll see him stab that red hot cigarette lighter in his shoulder, and you see him sort of like biting down on this this tube of mints as he uses the good stuff.
And it will that smell will go, and you realize you had to cauterize this because you weren't clotting at all.
I will quickly tell Carl that clearly I've been hit by some kind of special bullet, Carl. Some sort of hemophiliac type bullet.
Peter, I'm surprised.
It wiped out my clotting agents.
Peter, I'm surprised. I didn't thought you were watching the Rambo movies, but I see you have like a real Rambo blood in you. Good for you. Yeah, very, very, very bad that some enemies are using some weird bullets. Noted.
Yeah, that would tend to definitely link them then to Morgana. But luckily, Carl, I did manage to get a bug on their vehicle.
That's good. That's very good. The negative side on this is that they will probably realize it's bugged if they clipped you just under their vehicle. So
well,
we have to
let fate decide that.
We'll see about the usefulness of this bug.
Jimmy, where do they pick you up from?
They pick me up from a charity secondhand clothes shop.
Okay, so we can see in the garbage that stained orange uniform is thrown in there, and you've got the cheap stuff on and bundle into the vehicle. And Henry, what do you look like when they pick you up, and where from?
I'm a mess, I think, because as I go out the gate, of course, I'm peeling off the lab coat and just stuffing it in a bin. but then I'm dressed for office under that. So they'll find me cold, wet, and bloody, I think.
And
On a street corner near an alley.
And when they get in the car, even though they've changed, I don't know how many of you have been near a fire like this. They still smell of that burning and that chemical smell on them. And certainly we're hearing sirens, and the Paris radio, initial reports, terrorist attack, biochem firm, that all seems to be out in there. Police say they have suspects, that they are looking for persons of interest, and that is going on. You will get, after a little bit, like clearly they've been quiet while they're driving, that like the sound on that surveillance bug of them coming to a stop, and
I would like to spend a talent at this point, if it's possible.
Absolutely.
I would like to, in the wake of this incident that will surely raise our team's heat, I would like to contact Marceau, my news reporter friend, and my various other my various other contacts, to start feeding complete disinformation, like witnesses saw like a man of Middle Eastern origin running away from the thing. An American outside was saying that the cheese-eating surrender monkeys wouldn't get away with this, or that kind of thing. Just fill the discourse and the official reports with all kinds of wild stuff, so that people, we haven't got that. This bullseye that they're trying to put on our backs is still quite wide. As much as possible.
And tell, what is the mechanical effect of that talent? Remind me.
It says spend when an incident was raised, your team's heat. You have a labyrinth of misleading traces, conspiracy theories, and general denials lined up, which negate or reduce the heat increase.
So I think that we will keep it at, right now, the heat is just below fire. We're 3 ticks up on through the smoke, because the people that know that it's you are a small group, and then there's all this disinformation going on out there, and that is hitting things. You talk to your buddy, you get it. You push the blame in various directions, and you've given yourself some breathing room right now. You think that it probably might have been 2 or 3 ticks higher if you hadn't done that.
It felt like a big event to be tied to a bombing in a high security place. We still have the phone we need to crack. I just wanted to remember before the Zenu's phone. We need to have a look at that.
That's true. The bug will come through on this extraction team, and they're talking in Spanish, and one of them turns and says, "All right," and he says, "You're injured, Juan? Okay, get that tied up as much as you can. That means we can't go to the pickup for her." They said they're on Elysium. We're going to her apartment. We'll burn that, and then we'll meet up with them at the airport. If she's not at Elysium, the other team will take care of that. We'll figure out where they are. But hopefully she's at least been in contact with the bookseller, or the Cave du Vin. And you hear the guy who's clearly the leader say, maybe taking the sniper shot like that, maybe not the best plan. And it gets kind of quiet. And the other one, and why did you go after that guy? oh, it came up on me. You know, there's that back and forth of arguing about tradecraft, and that goes on until the leader guy basically shuts them down, and it gets real quiet in the van as they're very clearly driving to Morgan's apartment.
Do we want to take these guys out?
Before we do, Lowell, you said two things there. You mentioned the bookseller, and was it Captor?
Cave Duvin.
Okay, right.
The wine cave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think I know where we need to go. I am very tempted personally to hit back, right? But it feels as though you know, they took a shot at you, but it doesn't seem as though that was really their intent. These two are trigger happy. I'm almost wondering if we can follow down these cave to van leads and other stuff without
True, but we could take this team off the board.
taking the team off the board. To me, feels as though we're going to take them out of life and win. The thing we don't know is where does the vampire fall into this, right? Because the other Natalie and Group A are opposed to this group, the rescue team, as far as we can tell. Which Natalie has no good intent towards us. Group A has no good intent towards us. Group B may be neutral towards us, but we keep on getting in their stuff, right? You're muted, Law.
I will point out that Group B, as you call it, Morgane, the person that attacked her, was murdered by a vampiric supernatural being.
Exactly, yes. But they have hemophiliac bullets, and which I can imagine could be useful. But also, I don't know if he was protected, if she's a mole inside of the company. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know though where it all interacts. And I just think I'm happy to go after them. I just think that once we commit to that, we're committing to killing them effectively. You know, because there's three of them. They're well armed. It's going to be another fight. Ambush?
Well, how about a bomb? How about we get to the apartment first and rig it, or we put a bomb on their van and blow them up?
Fuck it.
I like the revenge, but I think we need to keep our heads down. You know, we can't afford to attract any more heat.
No, but they're still going to be about looking for us.
They
Don't
are,
want to come after us when we're not
No.
in a control position.
but we
Carl,
know
what do you say?
we know more about them than they do about us at this point, in the sense that we've got a bug on them, which I dare say you could track.
Yeah, but we know where they're going. They're going to her apartment.
Yeah, I don't see the point in making a big bang here. I think that just attracts more attention.
Carl, what do you've got a say in this?
I wanted to take them out in the club, but the odds were not into our favor. Right now, I get the feeling that taking them out will not gain us anything. They already said they will not pick up more gain, which was the very important reason to take them out. But if they are not going to pick them up, then it's like, I feel like this is not top of the priority list. I would love to eliminate an enemy team, but we lost this opportunity because the cards were not in our favor. So
Yeah, if we were to take them out, what intel do we gain from that? If we just blow them up, we don't gain any intel. We don't get any actionable thing. We do take a threat off the board.
the only thing we can gain from taking them out, but we would actually need to interrogate them and learn it from them, because we need to, if we want to have any hope of finding this Morgane, we need to know where the Elysium is, and they might know it. So we would need to capture them and question them.
Yeah. Why don't we take out, and just leave their man in a van, and then Carl can, put the cigarette lighter on him.
Before we get, the key thing here is Elysium, isn't it? If we still want Morgane, Elysium as our best lead.
And these guys will know where it is.
Well, I'm just wondering if I know where it is. I'm thinking high society. Does Elysium mean anything to me?
Elysium is definitely, a Greek term. And certainly there is the Champs Elysees, which there's a reference there, but it's not tied directly. In terms of high society, I don't think. I think actually, what you'll get is not on that end of things, but that the Cave du Vin is a posh, private wine club in Paris.
And somebody remind me, why did Cave du Vin come up?
The people that you just encountered, this team that said they're not going after Morgaine because someone is wounded, that the other part of the team is going to follow up on Elysium, and they mentioned the Cave du Vin and the bookseller.
You see, I think that the Posh Wine Club is a more interesting lead than they are at this point.
So we know that they've got two teams in play.
Yeah. And
Split up
I
again.
think that went well. Yeah, the theory. So the theory so far is that they're going to go to the Cave du Vin or bookseller to meet the team right after the extraction, after they've gone to Elysium. Elysium is a third place as opposed to the Cave du Vin or the bookseller.
Yeah, but they go to Morgana's flat first to blow it up.
Yeah. Fuck, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ring the fucking police. Someone is breaking into. There is a bomb. I'm gonna drop a dime on them. We can take them off the board in an entirely different way. One that doesn't get our hands dirty and doesn't expose us to any further threat. We just drop a dime.
Call them up. Tell them that this person was involved in the shooting earlier today. There's been this bomb, and essentially drop the dime on them that way.
I wait until that bug confirms that they are at Morgaine's, until they are well underway at Morgaine's, and then I am swatting them effectively.
Okay.
Like it is a full-on, like all done anonymously or whatever. I can make a contact spend to have a friendly guy in the police or whatever, but I want to bring the fire of hell down on them.
Let's have that contact.
Okay, that is Pierre, I guess. You know what I'm going to make it. It is Audrey.
Okay. So how much do you want to spend from network for this?
I will spend. Where is network? I'm so low on things. I will spend 2 points, I think, from this, because I think should be a useful one to have. Is that how
Absolutely.
it works at network? You make the most points you spend, the better they are. Like
the better you roll is the better they are.
Yes, it's a roll. Everything's a roll, of course. Yeah,
for this part of things.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Sorry, because it'll free us up to actually.
Before you
11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say, Alan?
No. I'll set her for 11.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you call your person. They have connections on the police force.
I think Audrey is a counterterrorism specialist in France.
And they know your rep, and they're very excited to have something because of this blast earlier this evening, and they will thank you, and they say we'll be acting on that right away. We appreciate your assistance with this matter, and I think that we can cut to essentially this team in that apartment. We see them grabbing things up, moving things into position, and then I think that's the point at which we essentially see the equivalent of the French SWAT team come busting in that door, knives, things. We're hearing down on the ground, and these guys will cover themselves and will get grabbed up by the French police.
While this is happening, Carl takes the med kit and starts to remove the glass pieces from the team from the team member that are still covered in glass.
Okay. So as this is happening, you've had a chance to catch your breath a little bit, but you've got the police brought down on this other team. What are you doing? What are you? Where are you headed?
I would like to try and crack that phone
Okay.
because we've only got 24 hours before a message deletes as well. So the longer we don't look at that phone, Xenu's phone,
Okay.
which had a secure messaging app on it, it's our only lead on what Group A is doing beyond blowing us up.
So while Jimmy's working on cracking that phone, how is the rest of the team arrayed? Are you going to safe house? Are you following up on something?
I'm going to assume that safe house is still active. So I think I'm going to rest up at the safe house. I'm at a loss at this point. I think that we risk, once we put our heads above the parapet at the minute in Paris, we risk arrest.
Peter?
Yeah, I'd like to try and find out about this Cave de Vin.
Okay.
You said it's a is it a club, a members only club sort of
It
thing?
has a public space, but apparently it also has a private members only portion.
Okay. I'd like to start staking that out. I've got high society, so I think I should be able to blend in the public area.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be spending some time in the public sections, trying to see who's going into the VIP area, who's coming out of it.
Absolutely.
Get some photos, that sort of thing.
So cracking phone, Cave du Vin, rest and recovery. What are you doing, Carl, during this process?
I'm at great loss. What else is there to be done? I actually want to contact, but this might require preparedness.
Sure.
But I'm not sure if this will give us anything, because I don't remember we ever identified the shooter, and it is written in the notes that we identified them as a Michael.
Yeah, I know I mentioned that name before. So you did get his ID. Do you want to try and follow back and figure out who he is?
Yes. I would like to contact someone to get more information about Michael Xeniu, because if he's ex-MI6, that might give us some lead at least against who might have a grudge against us, because we know a vampire with solid leads in the MI6.
Absolutely. So now I've got a sense of what everybody is doing. Let me run through that list and resolve stuff. I'll save Alan. I'll save you for last in case you want to change up based on what. So Jimmy, I think this is going to be a data recovery role.
A roll rather than a push.
Sorry, a spend. I apologize.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's fine. I was just as a wider understanding of how contacts and things work. That with Audrey, is there a way for me to lean back on that contact, like with a spend of tradecraft or something, to be like, what did you find out from Morgane's apartment, from the arrests, that kind of stuff? Would that be
We could
thing for
certainly.
the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we would
cool.
use networking to do that. Yeah.
Oh, but I would re-roll even though I've created the contact. I wouldn't.
Oh no, you created the context, so
I spent tradecraft to sort of reassure contacts, or negotiation to be like,
that seems
tit
fair.
for tat kind of stuff.
Your initial role was to get them into play. You could use tradecraft later on to try and draw more information out about what happens down the road. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
The contact system makes more sense to me now. Thanks.
So you make a spend on data recovery. You will, as I mentioned before, this is a phone with this, basically just used originally for that sort of commence signal for the team, and you will open it up. It looks like once you kind of pull it open, there are about 6 people using this phone. They're communicating using code names. And one code name, Longinus, has sent several photos on this. Looks like Brutus is the code name for the person in charge. And then there are Cimber, Galba, Cinna, and Albinus.
What are the photos of?
So it looks to you that the 4 photos that are there are open air car parks in Paris, which looks to you like markers for public meeting spaces.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm sorry, 3 of them are those photos. The 4th one is a picture of Morgan. Do you want to make a streetwise spend?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. And this will probably take, some more time. So this is you've ripped the phone, you've gotten the names. It looks like they're a mix, like it's not incredibly professional. Clearly they're relying on the Hush Hush app to do what they need to do. So they don't feel like high level professionals in that. A streetwise spend, when you go and check, it looks like these open air parking spaces, that they're good car parks. There are about 7 of them in Paris. They're the only ones that permit heavy goods vehicles. And you'd guess that these 3 that have been sent are ones that have been used, and that there's probably some connection that way. Does that seem like fair info?
It makes very little significance to me now, but it seems, we'll see how I can leverage it going forwards. Thank you.
Okay. Peter, it's evening now. Probably we're at the high wine drinking time. The thing that will strike you the most when you get to the Cafe du Vin is that it is across the street from a graveyard.
Okay.
And it's inside. It's done in a kind of a dark Gothic look, but very much with a Greek inflection. The design there is done that way. You can see that they've clearly got some street artists to do murals. They've kind of done the walls so they almost look like a cave. They've got some fancy stuff there. And the owner's name is Angelos Konikos. And I will grab a picture of him for you. Let's see here. I'll grab that. I'll put it in the Cafe du Vin. See here. Got pictures. Modern NBA.
Sort of ID checking the owner. Angelos Konikos. Sounds Greek. That's a surprise. What publicly can I find out about him?
So I think has owned this place for a number of years, and what you'll pick up is that he's a member of some kind of Greek religious society called the Thyasoi, Thiasoi.
Okay.
A high society spend, if you make that to blend in,
Yep.
kind of sit, got that public area. He's out there mingling with people through the evening. And you'll see that there are a number of people that come in. They're clearly members, and he sends them, talks to them, and then sends them to the back, and they go up these stairs to another area. And you can tell he's kind of doing a head count. And at a certain point, he comes to the people who are kind of left in the bar, and he says, "We'll be closing up in about 30 minutes. We have a special private event tonight. And if you could finish up."
Okay. Not a problem. I will wait the sort of 30 minutes just to see if there's any other people come in.
Yeah. Couple other people, and I'm assuming you're capturing faces and things like that.
Yeah. So I'll either take a taxi back to the safe house.
Okay.
Afterwards, and then I'll will research spend. What will that tell me about Theolosii?
Let's let me grab that.
Is it a spend or is it just general sort of research?
I think this is a more of a spend for this one.
Okay.
You'll be able to find it's quiet. It's a mystery cult, like revived from the 19th century, supposedly based on older Greek practices. They describe themselves as an Orphic cult, as a cult that communes with the underworld, that they're kind of they have that feel of the people who want to kind of reclaim Greek history, but it's certainly deeper and darker than that. Like, it's clearly a kind of a wealthy, I don't want to say death cult, but death cult.
Okay.
And they're right across.
Relay all this to everybody else.
Yeah. Then they're right across from the Montparnasse cemetery. And apparently, the other thing that you will pick up is that apparently they do rites in there.
Very dodgy. Wonder if it'd be worth finding out if there's any sort of Greek people buried in there, possibly. But that'll be another day to look into that. So I'll relay this to everybody, and what do people think?
Thaxus, it's all Greek, isn't it? And they were heading to Cave de Van. So this extraction team, the Barcelona crowd, are clearly linked to these people. Maybe the Theolosoi, but that sounds a lot like a vampire to me. Definitely some dodgy stuff going on here.
Yeah. If they're linked to a graveyard, I'd say it definitely points to some kind of vampire.
We know that there's an Orpheus in play, don't we?
Yeah, though I'm not 100% sure that's the vampire. Though he did say Orpheus did it, didn't he, when he died?
He did.
Yeah, so maybe. Yeah, I just wonder how we action on that. Yeah.
Well, let's follow up on what Carl is looking into, and then we'll swing to Henry. So what is it that you are doing again? Remind me, Carl.
I contacted someone. I'm thinking who it could have been. I wonder what kind of the people have access to, like, intelligence networks and stuff like that. Probably needs to be someone who works for French intelligence. French name generator.
Before you blow another contact, I'm just thinking, what is the benefit of contact of getting in touch with your key contact again?
So you can get in touch with your key contact to do a refresh.
Because I'm just wondering, because I have Michel Galliard, who's with the French security services. So rather than doubling up a French intelligence agency, I'm wondering whether Michel is worth a call.
Do you want to essentially put Carl in touch with Michel to do the tradecraft talk there?
Yeah. Yeah. When I speak to Michel, I mean, do you have to spend time with Michel, or?
Well, we'll come to that scene in a second. But Carl, are you okay with that?
Sure. Let's not double up on creating too many contacts. That's a good idea.
So you will get in contact with this with Galliard, and he'll say, so Henry says that you need some assistance on something.
Yes, I was hoping that PbtA could check a name, Michael Xeniu. I'm thinking he might be ex-MI6, or probably, or any other intelligence agencies, or I don't know, maybe a criminal records on this guy. And your assistance appreciated in this.
Absolutely. Give me a minute and a little bit, and let me check and see what I can pull up for you. Go ahead and make a tradecraft spend, Carl.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
He'll get back to you, and he says, weird record here. Looks like early days, like Greek revolutionary, but makes some mistakes. The next thing I see, he pops up on the list with Romanian intelligence services as an informant. But the weird thing is he drops off the map, and it looks like the last thing that I have on record is him as a contractor, which says to me maybe informant, maybe security services, maybe operative for a company called AgriWealth.
How long ago was it? Is it present, or?
That he pops up on that about 18 months ago, but then that kind of vanishes off like it got scrubbed. I suspect your friend is maybe working corporate intelligence of some kind or an operative. He's pretty young, so he's not highly placed. It's weird. It's clear that someone has done some playing around with his records. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure about his connection to agri-wealth.
Sure. That's is there anything in our circus that we should know about the agri-wealth? Are they known in our circles or completely not?
It's not a name that's popped up yet for you. But he'll say, they're a multinational. They operate in Europe, Middle East, North Africa. I know they have some offices in Russia. He pauses and he says, I know that there was some weird things that went on with one of their directors not too long ago. And there have been some hints that they might have some ties to some criminal elements, but who doesn't in these days? If you want, I can look around and see if I can find someone who might have the scoop on agri-wealth. I know there are some journalists that have been looking into them.
Yes, that would be that will be helpful.
Yeah, give me a couple of days and I'll see if I can get you an introduction.
And then before Carl can hang up, I gesture for him to give me the phone, and I wander away into a corner of the safe house. I said,
what
Michelle,
the fuck is going on?
Look, I don't know what it looks like from your end, but you just need to trust me. I didn't do it.
Who put you in this?
Is
it MI6 again?
No. Well, we don't think so. But it's somebody is screwing with me and my team. And I just need you to know that there is more to this than there appears to be. You know that I would not shit on your step like this.
Well, you know, the Paris station chief called me about an hour ago to ask if I had heard anything about you.
Yeah, there'll be CCTV of showing me at the site of the explosion this evening. Okay, it won't be obvious to everybody, but you'll spot me.
I don't know if there's much I can do to mitigate this for you, but
look, I'm not asking for mitigation, Michelle. I just need you to know, right, that this is me, and this is not what I do.
Oh, I know. That is not your thing, but I think you need to be very careful, because if you've poked MI6 again, if they think that they're going to be implicated in this, if somebody draws that line back, then all bets are off on what they're going to do to you if they can get a hold of you.
I know. And so, you know, I need to go to ground. So you probably won't hear from me for a while. But I just wanted to say hi.
Okay. If you know the drops, you know the ways. If you need help, just be careful. They're going to be locking down trains, planes,
and automobiles.
Right now. Yes. Take care.
Thanks, Michelle. Can I mark him to get a refresh?
Absolutely.
Is that the kind of usual interstitial refresh?
It is. So choose 2.
Okay. Okay. Let's put. So yeah, sorry, I've forgotten again. So I can choose 2 from. Let me
1
read out what I've written
investigative,
down.
3 general,
Yeah.
or 1 talent.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I need to put 3 into general. So 2 into physical. No, 1 into physical, and 2 of those into specialist. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another 1. Can I spend that as well in general, or is it got to go somewhere else?
It has to be somewhere else.
Okay. I think it's time to open another talent. I'll highlight the talent, and then I'll pick it when it matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Carl, you're down 1 health, right?
Wait. Are we doing advancement or are we doing refresh?
So he's doing a refresh, so he can refresh 3 points worth of general, 1 investigative, or reset 1 talent. You can choose 2 of those.
It doesn't get a new talent.
No. What was that?
Sorry, I misunderstood. I am going to dump makeup artist at this point.
Okay.
Yes, Lowell, you were asking?
So, Carl, you're down a health, right? You took that knife wound.
No, I did not. Everyone else seems to be wounded. I'm usually fine.
Oh, okay. Because when he's in that first thing, you took 1 harm when he did that initial fail.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Yeah. Do everyone heal up for this, like a moment of downtime?
Yeah, you're there in the safe house. And like I imagine it's actually that it's like maybe the first time that you're like, oh, I got knifed.
Yeah.
And you sit down and you realize you're bleeding a lot for a knife like that, like it's shallow, and you have a little bit of medic, right?
Yes.
And I don't think you have to do a spend from it, but you actually have to like do the full like close up super glue, because that cut isn't clotting like you would expect it to.
As Peter has told, yeah, probably super glue it.
Yeah, I think you've been hit by the same thing that was probably on that bullet, Carl. Now, clearly, she did have some skill, or she was definitely involved in haemophilia. She lost a son, I believe.
Yes.
Or her son had haemophilia.
Her husband died, and then a son died, and it was identified that he'd inherited haemophilia from his father that was undiagnosed.
Yes. I'm not sure if there's anything in the bucket I'm looking for, but I'm looking at my vampirology and wondering, is hemophilia stopping the, like, keeping the blood flowing? Is it?
Do you want to make a vampirology spend?
What?
Do you want to make a vampirology spend?
Yes, although I'm not sure if there's anything to learn. Is there any use for this for the vampire in the vampiric lore? I'm just wondering.
There are various traditions of vampiric lore, of supernatural lore. One of the classical signifiers for certain kinds of vampires is that wounds in their presence do not heal. Like if you're around them, those wounds won't close.
Okay, that's definitely interesting. But on the topic on this, are we able to like heal those missing health or not?
And essentially, Paul negated his through his wounds through taking the condition, and then used the good stuff to clear that. And for you, just sitting down and taking that time to do that will heal up that 1 point. That's that casual healing.
And I also took the glass from the other two, so they can also heal up. I removed the glass pieces from them.
Yes. So anybody else can heal 1 point of the damage that you would have taken, Henry. And James, and it's for you, it's mostly bruises, smoke inhalation, burns, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you see me smoking a cigarette and coughing up more of the stuff and then smoking the cigarette greedily again.
As a former smoker, I know that feeling. But anyway, so I picture that we see now, we're probably now 2, 3 in the morning, maybe even later, of the four of you sitting around, got another glass board, we got the markers, got things thrown out on the table, pictures and stuff. What's the next step?
I'm going to suggest we get down to the cave to Vin and hopefully catch that private party leaving. You know, there may be a feeding frenzy going on in there. We may be able to catch, you know, a bag of, you know, loads of bags being loaded into a van by some henchmen. Maybe just some general surveillance. What do you guys reckon?
I was thinking if we stake it out and we see an opportunity, we could. This could provide us with a vulnerable target, right? Like leaving or coming in to the thing. We could hit it before it arrives or before they leave somewhere else. You know, do the whole cars parked either side, snatch and grab kind of thing, and finally get a hard lead. The only thing that occurred to me is just as a proposition. If we went, no, actually we don't have it. I was like, if Agri-Wealth had an office here, we case that place out, kind of thing. You know, like go where they're not expecting us, because we're following directly rather than taking lateral moves. But I don't think that really is open. So forget that. Sorry. Yeah, I think staking out the van. I feel like if they knew where Elysium was and that's where she was, they've probably got her by this point. If that's where they were heading to. So our hope now is that they said that they were going to go to Cavovan or the booksellers. Now the booksellers is a different story, isn't it?
It is. We know nothing about that apart from a name. So the only active lead, I think. Well, we have Natalie, the PRX chief of security. We've got the Cavtavan and Angelos. And then we could do a bit of work around Agri-Wealth. You know, background work. Does it take more than one of us to stake out the Cavtavan?
Also, although that's a long shot, because they also mentioned that they will regroup at the airport. I could try to ask my contact how do they arrive, and we could try to stake out their private jet if they arrived with private jet. Maybe. If they still haven't left. So.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know much actionable intelligence, do we?
Well, we got. I mean, in fairness, we've got quite a lot. We've got the airport, we've got the wine cave, we've got Agri-Wealth, and we've got Natalie.
Yes, I'm just saying that
are actionable.
Yes, I'm just saying that they're all actionable in the same way that PRX Labs was.
Yeah, though. Just help me for a moment. Mm-hmm. The folk who blew up the labs, we're assuming that they are connected to Zeno's network because he was a shooter.
Yes, and he had the bomb things, and he was using our credentials to do this. So
you get Zeno and Natalie, clearly part of the group that set up the explosion, that put you in the mix. and that wanted to take out Morgaine, which means that if assuming logic, it means that Agriwealth wanted to take out Morgaine.
I mean, part of me wants to put Natalie under the microscope.
Yeah, I'm just to, as we're talking this through, I'm thinking, you know what, we're going after, at the moment we've been going after Natalie's target because they've been the things in front of us, right? That blew up in our face effectively, really. I feel like Cave de Van is it's clearly, triggering all my metagame knowledge of vampires and things like that and stuff.
We're going to end up in Cave de Van at some point, aren't we?
But Natalie's the one who crossed us, really, at the end of the day. Like Group A is the group who crossed us, who went after us, who tried to bring us into it, tried to pin the bomb on us, tried to do whatever. And
I'm curious to know why.
Yes, yeah, well, that feels like the key, right, to understanding the situation. If we can come in hard at Natalie, that would be perfect, wouldn't it? Really.
That's where my money is at this point. Well, I can't remember a second name though.
Costo, I think, was it?
Say again.
It is. It's on the thing. I just put Natalie.
I'm fine with just Natalie. If we.
Yeah, that's fine.
That one I can't find my names. So, what do you think is the next approach on that then?
Are we all agreed to go after Natalie or to check her out as a thing?
Or split the effort again? Does it take 4 people to go after her? Can you have the penny in the bun?
Just say it's a bit safer.
Yes, yeah. Given the experience to date.
So what you know about Natalie Tolbert, you know that she's the chief of security for a PRX. She's apparently the one that arranged this bombing, which means that she's connected with Xenu, which means that she's probably one of the names on that Hush Hush program, which means that she's probably associated with those photos and that sort of general discussion.
But then she's probably gone to, I mean, I imagine if we look her up, she's probably gone to ground, right? Like, given
No,
that
she's got a perfectly respectable job.
So does Morgaine.
You will hear that currently they are looking that they believe that the chief of security for PRX may have been killed in the blast, that they are currently looking for her, that the situation is still chaotic and unknown. Problem is, what you'll find is there's a lot of disinformation going on about it, so it's hard to kind of piece together what's exactly happening.
I actually figured out what Carl can do. Carl can dress up, as a public worker and can go around those parking. Are we speaking in like open area, like a parking that is just on the ground level? Or are we talking public parking like a four level structures, public parking, concrete building?
No, one level parking and very specific that can be used for essentially to permit parking for heavy vehicles. For heavy transport vehicles.
Yeah, so I envision Carl could go there dressed as a public worker and just climb on the nearest lamp and change the bulb, and at the same time put a tiny camera that will give us an overview on the parking and what is happening over there. That's one of the things I could do.
Do you want to start with that?
Sure.
Okay.
It's the middle of the night. It's a perfect time for public worker to be exchanging bulbs in the street lights. He first quietly shoots it from the distance, so that it is actually down, and then climbs there to replace it.
Absolutely. So let's have you make a surveillance spend.
Yes, I will. So probably I'm not sure if French public workers are also like blue collars, like in this blue jackets, blue shirts, but Carl is like definitely like that, driving like a typical van, not our like cool black windows van, just like standard van with like all the tools on him hanging, and he climbs this lamp and plants it. Yes.
Yeah, and we'll see you check out. You move to, you've got 4 possible locations that you can check, move, and I think on the 3rd one that you come to, you've seen other vehicles that have been parked, but they're cold, they're quiet, they've been there for a while. But it is on this 3rd that you come to this, industrial parking lot, and there's a little bit of light bleed from one of these big vehicles. It's got, a truck pull on it. It's big enough that it could be used for like a meeting space. And there's definitely a little bit of heat coming off of this, like it's in active use right now. And you're keeping your distance, but, you've definitely got a spot that this is an object of interest that, you can do that without too much hassle. You guess that they probably use this and move it, essentially when they're done with it. But it hasn't even been 24 hours since the shooting at this point.
Yeah. Well, if it's here, it's time to mark it. So I do finish my job. I like exchange the bulb in this like street light. I do place the camera on it so that we can get like a view for the later. But then I will definitely use this opportunity. I will probably just wanna walk across to like so that it just looks like like I'm crossing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna just like walk like really close to this car to hear if there are any sounds. I think I wanna put a bag on it.
So let me, you're starting to do that sort of, you've been doing this for a while, so you're doing that surveil to move to that next step.
Mhm.
While, this is going to take a bit, while that's going on, Peter, what are you doing? Are you on site there? Are you tracking something else via research? Looking for something else? What are you trying to find out?
No, I think I'll be on site.
Okay.
I'm thinking, do we need? I could use my my paint a target talent, and I could sort of lock this Natalia woman down if we think she's gone to ground.
So essentially, you're getting on there. You're finding her credit cards. You're locking those out.
Yeah.
You're
Tell you what, so from the van, I'll start instigating exactly what you said there. I'm going to spend that talent to lock her down, and then I'm going to get on the dark web and get in contact with my contact Chapstick.
Okay.
In the Middle East, probably Iran actually. That's where Chapstick is based, and I'm going to sort of get them to assist with locking down this Natalia character, and trying to sort of backtrack and get them to start listening when they start phoning up the credit card companies, their phone company or whatever. Backtrack that for an exact location.
Sir, I'll put a trace on all these accounts and keep an eye on them. See who they go to, and see if they've got anything that I can find that is off the record. We can tangle them up for weeks.
Excellent, Chapstick, and I'll make some inquiries about the political situation in Iran. Clearly, Chapstick is sort of on the side of democracy, because who isn't? And yeah, they're trying to bring about a bit of regime change there. And I'll also I'll tap Chapstick up to get in contact with another contact of theirs, a dark web chemist, to put some of the good stuff, get that UPS, another refresh of that out to me.
He says you're not in England, right? Because that's hard to ship to now.
That's no. Luckily, Tamar, we're in Paris, so all's good with Euro shipping there. Even if it is a ham sandwich.
All right. Yep. No, we'll get that to you right away. And he says, I'm seeing that there was a big to-do in Paris. It's on the news here.
Yeah. Some
I'm always surprised when I hear it and I don't immediately hear Islamic terrorist attached to it in Paris.
Yeah, that's unusual. We did have a little bit to do with that.
No, don't tell me that. I don't want to know that.
But all's good. All good, Tamar. Don't worry about it. We're safe.
All right. Be well.
And you too, my friend.
Jimmy, what are you up to? Carl is headed out, starting to run down those leads. You get the call back. You know that Peter is boxing Natalie in. What are you looking into researching during this time period?
I think I will be our eyes on PbtA.
Okay.
And keeping an eye on it, and making sure, is there any casing it out basically to see if a black van with a woman inside who is quickly hustled in through the doors or whatever comes by, right? Like, I'm making sure that situation doesn't, we know what's happening there as best as we can, basically.
And this has been a couple of hours since Peter was on site there, because some time has passed. So we're talking 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah, and I think I'm literally like, I'm set up somewhere very out of discreet, out of the way, and I'm like just watching. This is just a stakeout, effectively.
Yeah. We get that the street sweeper goes past, and it's cool out, but there's a little bit of rain. So by the time we get to that, there's that fog that's there, and you will see, not come out of the cave du vin, but out of the graveyard, you will see a group of people in robes.
Can I suggest that the place that I was staking them out was from within the graveyard, right? Because there's no one in the graveyard.
No,
at night. It's the perfect
like
place,
you're sitting there waiting, and then you start to see these people moving out of the fog, and they're clearly like they've had a great old time. You smell wine, you smell blood.
I smell blood.
Oh yeah, and you see this group of people, and they're not trying to hide themselves. It's clearly that they're wealthy, rich Parisians who indulge in this weird cult thing, and they go back across the street, and you will see one of the people like unlock the door, and they file back in. Like they've done their ceremonies for the evening, and now they're going to relax, maybe a little nightcap of something, and then head home.
Cool. Well, when they're heading off home, I make a careful note of all of their license plates.
Okay. You're getting all that. Henry, what are you up to?
If I've got this right, Henry, I think, is still at the safe house.
Yeah.
And I think that so far in series 1 and series 2, Henry has been supremely confident in her own abilities to get out of anything. Yeah. And it's all blown up in her face.
And you're also at the safe house by yourself right now.
Exactly. And I think that for the first time, we see Henry without her face on, so to speak. And she's looking tired and worried and nervous and frankly relieved to be on her own because nobody else is about. And the only thing she can think about is, Natalie Tallbear is somehow the key to this. And I think that she is just you know, social networks, you know, on her phone, just searching Natalie Tallbear, Natalie Tallbear, Natalie Tallbear.
May I have you make a cool roll?
You may. I will spend 2 from cool and roll. That is 13.
So there is this moment when you're doing that and you're tracking down Natalie Tallbear and you're dialing the phone, and you kind of look down and you realize, kind of shake yourself a bit because you've dialed another number, and you're like just about to hit like the last digit on this phone number that you don't remember dialing. The last digit is a 9. And you're like,
I put the 9 and press call.
rings a couple times, and you'll hear this voice. Who is this?
A friend, I say. Is speaking French or English?
She's speaking French.
A friend, I got your number. How can I help?
She says, where are you?
In a safe place.
And you can feel something pushing on you that says, tell her where you are.
Hang up.
And it takes you a second, and you realize that that was Morgane's voice.
Son of a bitch.
And you think that you're not alone in the safe house.
Oh my. Reach for the gun.
Okay. Kind of move as you kind of stand up, like all the shadows just keep kind of shifting around in here.
Back into the light.
Okay. Kind of move and stand there. And that makes you feel a little bit better.
With my back to the wall.
We'll come back to you in a moment. Pavel, Carl, you're sitting there on this, and you will see the back door of this like portable room come open, and you see this woman come out, and she is having one of those, I'm the customer, I'm right kind of conversations. The full-on Karen on the phone with this, my cards aren't canceled. No, that this is wrong. And you will see that it is who you've identified that as this Natalie person. It looks like there are a couple other people in that thing, maybe meeting with her, and she's just enraged.
And I am still on the lamp, just like finishing my job. Am I walking the parking to get?
You're walking the parking to kind of walking the perimeter. Your van's over there, so you've got an excuse to kind of walk the long way. So you're hearing her just in burning hot cursing French at this person on the phone.
Let's nab a Carl. You're a big man, well trained.
Yeah, I was just about to contact you guys because I don't know if that's the proper thing. So, is anyone else like paying attention to where she's standing from the truck?
She's kind of stepped a little ways away from the back of this truck. You can see as you glance that there may be 2 people inside that she was meeting with. You have the sense that maybe they said, go take that outside or something.
I'm in
the
the
part of
van,
the truck,
Carl.
so she popped up from the back of the truck or from the cabin?
So imagine that what you've got is like a big kind of trailer meeting room that's
Yeah.
on the back of this. And she's kind of stepped out the back door of that and kind of walked down into that parking lot.
Yeah.
Nabba, Carl. I'll swing the van round.
Yeah, I'll probably send quickly the message because I think I'm there alone. So I will quickly send the message to our chat I saw Natalie parking free, and I'm stepping down, and we see that I already take out paralyzer, but then I'm thinking, and I'm just looking at her because I'm really curious. Does she look like she's the vampire, or does she look like she's the thrall or something? Because
You'll soon know if she's a vampire because she'll kick the crap out of you. Let's just nab her.
There's only one way to be sure.
Fine. As I'm walking, as I'm sneaking to her, I want to just push the door close so that she will think that they close the door and they will think that she closed the door. I will just push the door close, sneak up behind her with the paralyzer and just the hand paralyzer to the back.
Let's have you roll fighting.
Yeah, this seems important. I think I'm going to spend 2 on this. Roll the dice. It's a 10.
So I think there's that one where you gently push the door so it doesn't slam. It just kind of goes back. They don't think anything of it. She maybe kind of glances over there at the movement out of the corner of her eye, and then the taser's in the small of her back. 1, 2, 3, and you've got her. And I mean, it's 4 a.m. in a parking lot here, kind of foggy, and the next thing we hear is the squeal of the van, and we see you then, and then the doors shut, and then we hear the.
Yes, exactly this.
And that's where we're going to take up next time, with Jimmy in a graveyard, with Henry having a little bit of a spooked out moment.
Well, can I suggest that at the point where the van is driving away, there's a kind of, I think there's somebody with me in the safe house.
I think that's perfect. That is our end line of that. So that's our the part 2 of this. I hope that's okay. Let's do, if you don't mind, quick stars and wishes. I think that, let me think of how I want to start this. I don't think we're quite done with this mission. I think next time should finish out this particular leg of the mission and point us in some other directions from here. Paul, quick stars, wishes.
Yeah, kudos to Alan for always trying to split the party and causing maximum damage. Alan's default. Let's split up. Pavel, for always bringing the hurt to the enemy. Every single time you deliver. So yeah, if she'd have been a vampire, maybe I'd have driven off, but I didn't. And yeah, Jimmy, some good intrusion there into the explosive zone, and for saving, well, at least attempting to dive in and save somebody. Yep, well done all round. Not much procrastination. We got on, we did things, so really good group play. Good to see.
It did lots of stuff today in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and lots of bad dice roll.
Yes, that was a terrible set of rolls.
Drives the story forwards, though.
Will?
I'm enjoying. I like the splitting up. It went horribly wrong. I'm glad that it went horribly wrong in some ways. I'm very I also we did a lot, but I also enjoyed that we did spend some time like contemplating, right? Because we don't have clear angles, and I enjoyed the talking through and like what can we do, and the thinking of the brainstorming of what's next kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more of this. I could feel us all becoming very cautious the second that it all went horribly wrong, but then not really having any other choice with what we have in front of us.
You've definitely got leads pointing towards Elysium, towards Barcelona. You've definitely got agri-wealth. You've got whatever Natalie's going to give you. We've got several like actionable directions.
I'd say the only thing that we don't have is a target to build these leads around. We have lots of leads that appear to go in different directions entirely, and no. If I was doing the adversary map of Knights Black Agents,
right?
I've got a lot of threads that ultimately I expect to condense down into single groups, right? But at the moment, we don't know who's who and what's what yet. So
well, and of course we have the Cave Divin and whatever this cult is and whatever information that may come out of that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to bombing the Cave Divin. Yeah, for sure.
And we also have some of this extraction team in French police custody. So that's not necessarily off the table for you, but it is a risky lead.
Yeah, well, one thing I was saying is, I don't have wishes per se or anything. It's this scenario and what we've set up in is a time sensitive one. So a lot of like we don't have much solid intel. We have a lot of leads, but no intel, and we don't have the luxury of being like, I spend the next 3 days working out their patterns and things. It's like I enjoy that as well, the pressure.
Yeah, I think some of the clock pressure will be off for a little bit. You're going to have some time to be a little more cautious in there because I already set the bomb off.
Well, we're also going to have to spend one session finding a new recruit after Henry gets slaughtered by a vampire. So, yeah, I'm done. Thank you very much.
And Alan?
Yeah, no, I thought this was very good. I think you built the tension really well. I appreciate the effort you've put in terms of names and faces, and yeah, I really felt the hurt because I wish, Pavel, you hadn't put those percentages at the top of the sheet, because when both of mine dropped below 50, I suddenly got very twitchy. But yeah, no, I do want to pick out Paul. I thought you played a stormer today, Paul. I thought Peter was all over this. So, that's where my principal star goes.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I put Natalie's picture in. I forgot to put that in. I've just added that to the NPC tab. Any wishes, Alan?
I am fascinated to find out what happens in the safe house before they get back. If they come.
We'll definitely start with that. And Carl.
Yes, kudos to my fellow players for all cool actions. I'm really happy that we somehow managed to work ourselves out, because in the middle of the session after the bomb exploding and the failed skirmish with the enemy team, I thought we are like out of all the stuff and leads, but we somehow managed to work out of this. I really like, although I find it a little bit weird knowing what level of zoom will be in each scene. For example, I really enjoyed that after like intense scene, we had like a zoom out and just like a one spent investigation what's happening inside the winery. Although I was afraid to go there because I was afraid we will have to like roll infiltration, evasion, and everything. And I'm not really sure like which scene is like which scene will be like zoomed in and which one will be zoomed out. But I really enjoyed the scale. It really is like a spy movie. We don't have to like zoom in there. We just like get the intel.
The joy of Gumshoe.
Yeah, I want. By the way, also I want to. I appreciate you coming back to me and saying, "Hey, what you resolved on that scene wasn't what I was imagining," and I was glad you were okay with us rolling back, and I thought that then rolled forward, and I appreciate you coming back to me on that.
Yeah, so that's I had cool spy genre fun. Wish-wise, I wish we finally learn what the hell is going on. But I think we are on the good side. We are on the good track. Maybe who knows? We'll see. Yeah.
What the hell is going on? I'll write that down.
Yeah, I definitely, if I survive whatever's in that safe house, I do want to interrogate Natalie.
Excellent. All right. Thank you all very much. I am going to stop the recording.